Rick, you mentioned your team struggles, the turnovers. Alabama's at the top of the league, followed by Missouri, LSU. You're struggling. Kentucky's had its struggles. How much of this is maybe just unusual teams maybe stepping up in the SEC? There seems to be an outside perception that the SEC is back to being bad again and back to its basketball struggles. How accurate are those outside perceptions?
I don't think they're accurate. Again, it goes back to what I was talking earlier about the NCAA tournament. I don't think they base anything on perception. I think they look at teams and you watch teams. If you watch Missouri play the other night, I don't think anybody in the country would say they're a bad team. And I think they would look and say they're a really good team. I mean, they saw them beat a good team too. I mean, were we at our best? No, they had something to do with it, absolutely. But you can't tell me that there's anybody in the country, in the ACC, the Big East, the Pac-12, that would look forward to playing Missouri or Alabama or LSU, you name it, okay? So the fact is, when you're in a league, when there's balance, I think it's great myself. But what happens when there's balance in the league is exactly what you said. The perception is that it's not very good because you expect, like at the ACC right now, because Duke, where are they in the league? North Carolina. Does that mean the ACC is not any good this year? And it's because two teams. And what happens is, as time goes on, if you got a great league, the coaches in the league, they're fighting to get up there. They're fighting to get there. Now, do you expect Kentucky, Carolina, and Duke to be good every year? Absolutely, you do. Do you expect Michigan State every year? Absolutely. UCLA, absolutely, because they've done it for a long period of time. But I think that's where we are in college athletics today, especially because of this transfer rule. There's going to be a lot of teams that can get good quick and overnight. Missouri's the oldest team in our league, and I thought they played like it. I think they're playing like a group of guys that say, hey, you know what? We've got a chance to go to the postseason play, the NCAA tournament. This is our last go-around maybe. We're going to go get it. And I think that's Jeremiah Tillman had one of the great quotes. Somebody asked him after one of their losses, what can you learn in a loss? And I think he said something like, we're too old to learn something from a loss. We shouldn't be losing. I think that's a great quote because when older teams get there, you don't need to lose. We don't need to lose games. I mean, that goes back to people thinking that you got to lose a game, this or that. I do know this: we're still dealing with kids. I do know that, and I know that. Can there be distractions? Can they get caught up in this, that? Absolutely, they can. But that's part of coaching, that you have a pulse on your team, that you're making sure in some way, somehow. Like we told our team, the last two teams that beaten us, we had beaten 4 times in a row. I've got enough respect for Mike White and enough respect for Conzo Martin to know that, hey, they're saying, hey, man, when's enough? When's enough? You guys going to keep letting these guys beat you? So that part of it comes in. And so, and our guys right now, they weren't part of all those 4 wins in a row, but they've been a part. Fulky and those guys were, and some of these younger guys, first time they played Missouri, first time they played Florida, they don't feel that yet. But coaches do. Coaches have a lot longer memory than players. Players have short memories. Coaches don't. So coaches are going to bring those type things up. So when we talk about a perception in the middle of January, I think you're right. I mean, everybody thinks that, but I've never believed that. I never have. I remember at Texas when we were playing Tennessee years ago, and they came in, and I knew this getting ready for the game. I had great respect watching Tennessee on tape that day and getting our players, but I don't think players think like that. I mean, I know they don't. I'm going to say this to you too. I don't know if they always have the kind of respect, especially young players should, for older players that they've never heard of. That happens sometimes, and sometimes that's where it does take them getting beat a little bit to realize, hey man, there's a lot of guys can play this game that I don't even know about. But on the outside, again, I don't think people that are dealing with basketball and really know the game. I don't know how you cannot look at Missouri the other night and Florida and say, hey, those are really good basketball teams. And even Tennessee, who's supposed to win the game, they didn't play great, but I could go back and sit down and show you the tape when we were still in striking distance in the game and could have done something with it as bad as we played, which tells me, the old saying that coach, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are.